Hi, I'm Nancy. Welcome to Mindful Yoga. Today, our theme is to learn a little bit more about backbends and how we can open from pelvis to sternum at the same time being long through the lower back and long through the neck. Our other theme is to become like dewdrops reflecting the moon. Let's take some seats where we can be comfortable with a straight, alert spine. It is also relaxed. Taking a few breaths as we tuck the chin a bit, lengthen the back of the neck, and let the tailbone settle down towards the earth. Breathing up through the spine and relaxing down through organs and muscles around the bones. We'll open with a Tibetan breathing. Breathing in through both nostrils, bring the left hand up, palm out, middle finger goes to the left nostril, exhale, right nostril. Hand comes down as the exhale ends, and on the inhale, bring the right hand up, close right nostril, exhale, left. Inhale both. Exhale right. Inhaling firmly. Both hands come down. Inhale. Exhale as the body comes forward, squeezing out the wastes and toxins through the air. 2 more times. Making space in the body. Coming back up, take on a Ujjayi breath, contracting the back of the throat. As you exhale, it's as if you're fogging a mirror, making an ocean sound in the brain. Clearing the brain, clearing the mind. One last Ujjayi breath. And let the breath quiet. A brief inhale and a long exhale. Settling into the breath. Become quiet as a dewdrop, balanced on the tip of a blade of grass. Transparent. A mirror to the world. One last breath here. And opening the eyes. If there's anything high underneath your hips, move that to the side, perhaps come onto a blanket. Crossing the legs. Bring one hand beside you, the other one reaches up, reach up, lateral connective tissue, stretching and come over, moistening that lateral connective tissue. And coming up, other hand reaches up, Reach up and over. And one more time on each side. On the tips of 10,000 grasses, each and every dewdrop contains the light of the moon. This time, slide the hand as the other hand comes over, perhaps feeling more of a moistening and lubricating of that connective tissue. One more time to each side. Since the beginning of time, not a single droplet has been forgotten. Coming up through center, let the eyes come down to the fingertips on one side and let the gaze draw that hand up, circling up and drawing it down in the back, opening through the shoulder. Synchronizing the movement and the breath. One time back the opposite direction, up and pushing down. Eyes go to the fingers on the other side. Gaze pulls those fingers up and around. Two more times. The light of the moon is a metaphor for the realization that all is one. Drawing that circle of oneness one more time back the opposite direction and coming down through viscous air. Bring the arms out to the sides, fingers reaching out to the walls. Feel the energy flowing from collarbone through elbows and fingertips, and then pivoting through the waist, eyes, neck, and collarbone still. Only the lower ribs moving here, opening up through the middle thoracic spine. Each drop is not illuminated by the moon, but actually contains the moon. One more time to each side, shoulders relax down. And bring the hands down. Legs come wide, ankles are flexed. Bring one arm diagonally across, back of hand coming towards the pinky on the side. Soft in the knees. No strain here. Just going as far as feels comfortable. Gradually opening up the body. One more time to each side. Legs remain apart. Hand on one leg. Face the heart in the opposite, the direction of the other leg. Slide the hand down the leg. Other arm comes up and over. Hand comes to where it's comfortable, peeking through that window of the arms. Perhaps the lower hand comes over to the opposite thigh for a little bit more of a twist. Strong through the belly as that hand comes back, slides up. Hand comes down the other leg, heart turns towards the opposite leg and coming up and over. Perhaps the leg on the hand on the leg comes over to the opposite thigh. Strong in the belly as you bring it back and come up. Now bring the feet wide in front of you, hands behind. Good support through the arms for the shoulders as we begin to windshield wiper the legs. If you look at a dewdrop in the light of the moon, you'll see the moon in the dewdrop. And letting the hand enter in, allowing momentum to bring the body around. If there are 10,000 dewdrops, all of them equally contain and reflect the moon. And coming down on one side in a full body twist, hands supporting you, perhaps down onto elbows, coming into your breath. There is not one thing that is not so endowed with this capability of knowing oneness. Then pushing up and coming across, resting down on the other side, enjoying that full body twist. No matter how dull you may be, no matter how deep your stupor, nonetheless, that inherent perfection resides in your body, in your mind. And pushing back up, come up through center. That perfection is to be able to be alive and awake and connected. We're going to come on to a lying position just briefly. Wiggle the hips a bit, wiggle the shoulders, get comfortable. Then bring the arms up above the head. One hand pulls the wrist up as the heel goes down. Feel the length through the limbs and from the pelvis up through the shoulder. And the other side. Lengthening, lengthening. Being right here in the body. Bring the arms around, down along the sides. Bring the fingers to the tops of the hips. Then run the fingers down along the ridge of the hips to the front. So we're going down and in to those protuberances where the hip bones come in towards the abdominals on either side. Then let your fingers come down in a little bit there. And you're coming down into the transverse abdominis, a horizontal muscle that runs from the spine around to the midline. Pull just a slight string between your fingers, bringing some stability and strength to that transverse abdominis and gathering in the pelvic floor. Not a Kegel, but just a slight gathering in. Establishing a strong pelvic bowl. And allowing the diaphragm to relax down into this pelvic bowl, swelling through the lower ribs. And exhaling out. 2 more breaths here. Stable pelvic bowl. Lower ribs swelling, diaphragm expanding, and breathing. Release, and we'll roll over and come up into a standing position. Feel the feet grounded down into the earth, a little looseness through the body. Bring the hands up behind the skull. Inhale, head into hands, and exhale as chin is gently drawn down towards the chest. Long exhale there. Inhale up. Exhale forward. We're going to be lengthening through the back of the neck today. So this is a gentle beginning in that direction. One more time. Inhale back and exhale forward. Let the head come up. Bring one hand to the opposite cheek. Bring the chin over towards the shoulder just a bit. Inhale, cheek into hand, and exhale as you gently draw the chin towards the shoulder, relaxing down through shoulders and neck muscles. One more time, inhaling cheek into hand and exhaling round. This will be useful when we're lying flat on our stomachs and have our heads to the side. So opening up a bit here. Then release. Other hand comes up to the opposite cheek. Inhale, cheek into hand, and exhale, round, letting the shoulder blades relax down with gravity. Inhale, cheek into hand, and exhale, round. And give yourself the space of a few breaths here. Release and come back through center. Bring feet wide. Toes are out to 45 degrees, knees bent, hips bent, and hands on the thighs just above the knees. Let opposite shoulder come to the opposite knee, back through center, and across the other way. And the shoulders dance from side to side. The spine spiraling. One more time on each side. Coming back through center, keep the same stance. Inhale as the tailbone rises. Heart shines forward, open the front of the spine. Exhale as the back arches up. 2 more times. Giving attention to that tailbone as it rises and falls. Coming back through center, bring the feet together. Interlace the fingers, and we're going to do a figure 8, opening up our wrists, getting them ready for a little bit more activity later. 3, 2, and 1. Then unclasp, clasp the odd way, and lead with the non-dominant hand as you do that once again. 3, 2, and 1. Keep them laced whichever way you like, and then rub the heels of the hands together. For 3, 2, and 1. Bring the fingers once again to the tops of the hips. Run the fingers down the hip bones to these protuberances that stick out on the sides, inner sides of the hips, in towards the abdomen. Bring the fingers in towards that transverse abdominis a bit, pulling a string gently across, firming that area, drawing in gently through the pelvic floor. Then breathing in, inviting the diaphragm to expand and the lower ribs to swell open into that stable pelvic bowl. So practicing keeping the stability of the spine and the pelvis at the same time as we breathe fully. One last breath here. Shake it out a bit. Bring the feet wide. Feet are at 45 degrees and knees are bent and tailbones coming down a bit. Soften the knees up, arms come up with an inhale. Exhale as you push down through the palms. Palms come back across the thighs. Knees are bent now to the extent that's comfortable. Inhale up and exhale. Pushing down, tailbone coming straight down towards the earth. No tucking of the tailbone, just coming straight down. 2 more times. Letting the whole body enter in here. As you come down, let the hands come onto the thighs. Turn towards the corner of the room. And then bend forward over the thigh, coming from the bottom of the spine. Let the eyes guide you across. Then eyes bring you up. It's as if the eyes are initiating the movement. As you come down over the thigh, across, the eyes lift you up. One more time. Down, across, up, and back over. And come on. Take a breath. Bring the hands to the tops of the hips and press down. Hands pressing down through the hips, grounding down through the feet, perhaps closing the eyes here, allowing all your energy in the lower part of the body to ground down. At the same time, allowing the torso and the spine to lift up, feeling length through the back of the body and the front of the body, chin slightly tucked so that the length is in the back of the neck. Now bring the hands down towards the hip creases and begin to bend forward from the base of the spine, keeping the tailbone long. Let the gaze come down so that the back of the neck is long. And there's some opening from the pelvis up through the sternum. Hands might come down to the thighs. They might come down to the shins. A kind of front forward fold at the same time with a little bit of a back bend in it. But keeping that length through the back of the neck, through the lower tailbone, and a little bit of opening along the front of the body. Then soften the knees, take an elbow in each hand, and just dangle down with soft hips and knees, letting the vertebrae separate in the lower back, middle back, upper back, and neck. Soften the knees more as you rub the hands up the legs and come up. Our spine has good support here in the middle because of the rib cage. The support for the cervical spine in the neck and the lumbar spine down here, down to the tailbone, is not as strong. But we have the pelvis down here, right, to support the tailbone. So this is why when we do a back bend, it's easy to become too arched and too contracted here in the lower back and to strain the neck. So today we're practicing opening up through the front, but at the same time lengthening through the tailbone and keeping long through the neck. So we'll come down now to a prone position. We're going to do some prone front extensions. But we'll start by just lying down on the mat, arms along the sides, relaxing everything down, allowing gravity to align us against the floor, against the earth. A few breaths here. Then you might come onto the other cheek, turning the head in the other direction. If you meet any resistance or great discomfort or pain, please back off any of these. Some of these are new things we haven't done. Bringing the head back to the other side. Extend the arms out in a T to each side, as if you're embracing the earth, as if you can feel the curve of the earth underneath your chest and extended arms. And then turning the head once to the other side. Now squeeze the ankles and the knees together with an inhale and exhale as heels separate. Inhale, squeeze. Exhale, separate heels. Next time, Bring that squeeze up the legs, through the thighs, and up to the glutes as you squeeze the glutes, the buttocks. And exhale, heels separate. Once again, bringing it all together. Buttocks are squeezed together and push the pelvic bone down towards the mat, lengthening the tailbone. Relax, let heels separate. And one more time, squeezing up, feeling the length of the tailbone as the pelvic bone pushes down. And relax. We're going to come up into Sphinx pose. Forearms are under shoulders and arms are parallel. Fingers towards the front of the mat. Push into the elbows, push the shoulders down, and let the head rise up out of the basket of the shoulders. And for a moment, let the head come down. Let it sink down into that sling of the shoulders. And another elbow push up as you push the elbows down, push the shoulders down, and lift the head up out of the shoulders. Feeling that long neck. Gaze down in front of the mat, maybe a foot out. And one more time, coming down. Pushing through elbows and shoulders, lifting up through the crown of the head. And this time, squeeze the ankles, the knees together, the thighs, squeezing through the buttocks and pushing the pelvic bone down, lengthening through the lower back. Holding for 2 more breaths. So we're opening through the front, particularly from the pelvis up through the collarbone and lengthening through the tailbone. Then relaxing. Let's come into a child's pose. Anything that's relaxing for you. Arms might come along the side and forehead down, or knees might be wide. Become a dewdrop once again. Perhaps reflecting the fog or the sun, reflecting whatever is going on and being sensitive to it, connected to it. Then rising up and sliding forward once again. Come into Sphinx with the arms. Bend the knees. Separate the knees a bit as the calves and feet go side to side in a windshield wiper that you do on your stomach. Remember your elbow push up. Remember the head rising up, but the gaze not too far in front of the mat. If any of this is uncomfortable, please modify. Then you might let one foot come in and the other one go, move in the opposite directions. Just playing around. And the point here is to open up through the hips, open up through the inner thighs, so there's more freedom in the lower part of the front part of the body, as well as in the tailbone area. Now let's clap our feet. Like a seal. And bring the feet together. Let the torso come down. Let the arms come out to a T. Relax down. You might turn your head in the opposite direction if that serves. Now we're coming into a baby cobra. Bring the hands so that they are just about at breast level and elbows are close to the body. This time, let the forehead come down onto the mat. The chin is slightly tucked. Imagine you're a tiny baby who doesn't have much strength in their neck yet. but they see a ladybug in front of them, and their eyes follow that ladybug out just a little ways and come back tired. Feel the length through the neck. Once again, the baby sees the ladybug. Follow that ladybug a little farther this time. Length through the neck. Eyes coming out towards the end of the floor as it meets the wall. Tuck the chin once again. Long through the neck. Passive through the shoulders and the arms. Follow that ladybug up just a little ways up the wall. Come back down. Let the eyes lead as you follow that ladybug up. When the eyes are leading, the neck tends to stay a little longer than coming back down. Take another relaxed breath. This stretches us in some new ways. This next one is called an iguana. It's one we haven't done before. And it could torque if you have some weakness in the pelvic area, the sacroiliac joint, it might torque it. So do it with some care. We'll give it a try, but if there's any discomfort, please back off. So in this one, the arms are at 90 degrees and the fingers are pointing inward. If that's uncomfortable, fingers can also be out towards the front. We're going to bring the head down and then peek under the arm. Bring it through center, peek under the other arm. And legs are straight here, peeking under. Now we're going to, as we peek under a shoulder, bring the knee, bending the knee up and peeking at the gaze meets the knee as it comes up to about 90 degrees. But this is a place where be a little careful. And if it bothers you, just leave the legs be straight here. Switch around here. Now this next time, coming from the middle, looking over the shoulder, perhaps the knee bends or perhaps it stays straight. Coming down through the front, looking over the shoulder, perhaps at the bent knee. Finding your version of iguana. You might not bend that knee very much, just a little bit. Then begin to bring that one hip up a little bit farther. Hands come back a bit. As you become a more upright iguana. And come back. Come up onto hands and knees. Bring the hands just a little bit in front of the shoulders. Tuck the toes. Dig into the hands. Bring the hips up. Weight comes back over the feet. Paddle the legs. Stretch back through the arms and the sides of the body. Keeping long through the tailbone, long through the neck as the crown comes forward just a bit. Shoulder blades coming to the edge of the shoulders as the arms just turn slightly and the eyes of the elbows come in and up slightly. Come forward into plank for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Elbows come in, knees come down. Up into a slight cobra, let the eyes rise a bit and then come down. And we'll come back into Sphinx. So finding your Sphinx, opening from the pelvis up through the collarbone, settling down through, anchoring down through the hips, long through the tailbone. Let the knees bend. This time, bring the knees together and the ankles together. So it's as if your knees and ankles are stuck to each other, and then let them go side to side. So this is really turning you through the hips, through the waist, as your feet together go from side to side. Next time you come over to one side, pause, let one leg come back. So the legs become almost like pinwheels, both bent, but one in front of the other. Then bring it back, roll over, and pinwheel on the other side. So my one leg is coming back, it is still bent. And you might go side to side here, broadening into a pinwheel. You might pause on one side and work that back leg slightly back and forth. And roll over and back and forth. And let your body be free as you go back and forth. Almost a kind of spring and a push up in the middle. As the body becomes freer and freer. Finally coming up on one side, open up with the arm. Come down through the middle, open up on the other side. Then rolling over, let that hand come down, let the feet come in front of you. So hands are behind and feet wide in front, and we're going to come up into an up plank. And as we often do, hips might swing back and forth a few times. And then bringing it up for 3, 2, and 1, and bring it down. Give the knees a hug, let the forehead come to the knees. Counter pose here. And we're going to come on to our knees. I recommend this could be done standing up if you have knee issues, but I recommend for everyone, if they're on their knees, to bring a blanket because we're going to be here a little longer than we usually are. So we're coming into a camel pose, practicing again this opening from the pelvis to the sternum while keeping a long tailbone. Bringing the hands first to the hips. Hands on tops of the hips, closing the eyes as we did standing up. Grounding down through the knees, feeling that long gravitational pull. And then lifting up through the torso, up through the spine. Tucking the chin slightly. Then bringing the hands back behind the hips. One comes into the center of the sacrum, and the other one comes to the front of the body, just below the navel. One in front and one in back. The one in front pulls up slightly towards the navel, and the one in back pulls down slightly. So we're not tucking, but we're just pulling down straight through the tailbone. And as we do this, the weight, the center of gravity comes forward, and we start to open from pelvis through the collarbone, giving yourself support, lengthening down through the tailbone, and opening from pelvis. Keep the eyes on the horizon. Just experimenting that with a bit. Feeling the length in the tailbone as you open through the front of the body. Hips come forward, you lengthen through the front. Now coming up from that, bring your hands into your normal hip pockets, and then imagine that your hip pockets are up here on the waist. So your hip pockets are way up here, your palms are kind of up at the kidney area. Bring the elbows together, squeezing them together. Center of gravity comes forward as the hips come forward, though the hips are staying over the knees. Opening, lengthening through the front, and coming back up. Next time, keep one hand on one side And let the other hand come down over that squeezed glutes, down the thigh in the back. That hand comes up and the other hand comes down over the glutes, down a ways down the thigh. And as you do this back and forth, the gaze might come towards that back area. Fingers might come down a little bit farther, but you're maintaining that long tailbone and strong pelvis with your hand supporting the sacrum. Fingers might come down to the hip creases. Sorry, not hip creases, to the knee creases. But if they don't come that far, that's fine. Keep going to the knee creases or in that direction, or bring one hand back to a heel, letting the gaze come back in that direction at the same time. So either to the knee crease or to the heel, and then coming down on the other side, down the thigh, or coming back to the heel, looking back and coming back up. Next time, hand comes down the thigh, might come to the heel, rise up with the arm on the other side, lifting up through the little finger, gaze goes up towards the thumb. Then let the gaze go down the direction of the heel, come up towards the thumb, then grab a sky hook up here and pull yourself up. Now the other side. Support as the hand comes down the thigh, it might stay there. Gaze starts to go back in that direction. Hand might come to the heel. Gaze back in that direction. The arm reaches up through the little finger. Gaze goes up to the thumb. Gaze comes down towards the heel or the thigh and back up. Grab the sky hook and come back up. And let's once again come into a child's pose. Letting yourself rest down, becoming a mirror. Rising up, we're going to come in to some lunges that are also a little different than we usually do. Again, keeping a blanket under your knee is probably a good idea. One foot comes forward, knee is right over ankle, and this knee in the back this time is right under the hip, aligning the hips horizontally towards the front of the mat. Bring the hands onto the hips. Then imagine that a hand is pushing you forward from the sacrum in the back, and you come forward just a bit and come back through neutral. Hand pushes you forward through the sacrum, keeping long through the back, eyes are towards the horizon, and come back. One more time forward. This time, as you come back a little farther, bend from the base of the spine, bowing slightly along the whole spine, and come back up. Now bring the hands to the knees, to the knee, the front knee. Imagine now that a string is pulling you forward from your sternum, from your chest forward. And as you come back a little farther than neutral, straight spine, bending through the base of the spine, and coming back up, letting the sternum bring you forward, eyes towards the horizon, coming back through neutral, bowing, and one more time. This visualization, keeping yourself open from the pelvis up through the sternum, and also keeping you long through the neck and long through the tailbone. Now bring one hand in front of the front foot and open up into a twist on one side. Then replace that hand with the other hand and come up on the other side. Hands come to the hips, rise up and change legs. Knee over ankle, hip over knee, aligning the hips, hands on the hips, that hand pushing the sacrum forward gently and coming back through neutral, long in the neck, chin slightly tucked. Glutes are strong here. One more time, coming forward with that hand, nudging the sacrum forward, long in the tailbone. And as you come back, bending at the base of the spine and bowing slightly as you come back a bit. Coming up through neutral, hands come on to the knee. String pulls the sternum forward. Very erect here. Feeling a little more opening now in the front of the body. And then bowing long in the spine. And 2 more times. Inhaling forward, sternum coming to lead the way, and bowing down. Give yourself to the breath and the movement here. Then one hand comes down inside the foot and open up. Trade hands, then open up in the opposite direction. Bring the knees back together. We have one more thing to do here. If you feel like standing up and not being on your knees anymore, that's fine. Either way will work. We're going to bring one thumb up and one thumb down. So we're hitchhikers. One thumb is down and one thumb is up. Our face goes towards the thumb up and then turn both thumbs and the face goes to the other side to the thumb up on the other side. So thumbs are rising and falling, the face always going towards the thumb that is up. Let the shoulders enter in gently here. As the neck turns, the shoulder turns, elbows and wrists, creating a gentle movement. Then pausing, we're going to have both thumbs up and then we're going to have both thumbs down, but they're stretched out. So soft through the elbows and the shoulders. Elbows are up, thumbs are up and then thumbs are down. As the thumbs come up, keeping the hips forward, opening up through the front of the body, long through the tailbone, and then coming forward, turning the thumbs down and around as you come forward from the base of the spine. Thumbs come up, reach back slightly, and just playing with this, perhaps increasing it a bit, taking care with the body. Staying long from pelvis up through sternum, long through the tailbone. And although the head goes back, the eyes are leading so that you're not straining in the back of the neck. The back of the neck is still long. One more time. And bring it all down. Let's stretch arms out in front. Take a long stretch in your child's pose. And take any movement that feels good here. We've been doing a lot of movements that are very particular. What would feel good for you here to open up? Then slowly we'll come up to a standing position. This is the Chinese Lunar New Year time of year. And the year this year is the year of the tiger. So we're going to be tigers a little bit here, making claws, rolling our fingers in, and leaving some space between the forefinger and the thumb. So we have a nice long open claw paw here. And then as we do this, we're going to roll in with the little finger, then each finger in, and make softer fists. So starting with that claw, bringing the claws down, lifting up the energy from the earth, rolling in the fingers to a softer fist, allowing palms to relax as you come up over the face, reaching up towards the sky, pushing up, making your claws once again, scooping up the universal energies, then pulling in each finger and making soft fists as they come down over the body, palms relaxing and opening. Once again, scooping up energies from the earth with your claws, then curling the fingers into soft fists, open palms, reaching up to the sky, making your claws, gathering the universal energies, curling in the claws, soft, and to open palms. One more time. As you come down the last time, let the hands rest on the lower abdominal area. Breathing for a moment here, just being the tiger, courageous and strong, and also soft. Then we're going to do some tiger walking. So again, bring your claws together. As the left hand comes forward, the right foot comes forward. Then opposite hand and foot forward, walking in whatever space you have, perhaps just up and down the mat. Opposite hand and foot coming forward, imagining yourself a tiger walking, strong, empowered. But soft with its cubs. And coming back through center. A little tiger fun. Now bring the feet wide. Bring the weight into one foot. And bring the other foot forward with the toes up. Open the arms. And as you bring the weight forward onto the front foot, bring your arms protectively around your nest in the front. We're no longer a tiger. We have turned into pigeons. We open our pigeon breasts and we come forward and protect our nests. And one more time, open and forward. Bring the hands down. Front foot comes back, other foot forward on the heel. Back knee is soft as we open up, weight in the back foot, and come forward with an exhale. 2 more times. And bring the arms back. Let's come down to a lying position on the mat as we end this morning. Bringing any comfort props you need, maybe a blanket under your knees, or perhaps the knees are tented together, or maybe you're just fine, flat on the mat. Finding a comfortable position here, palms open, bottoms of the feet open. Relax through the back of the neck. Coming back to that open breathing, opening the lower ribs, letting the diaphragm descend, and then a nice long exhale. Quietly balancing on the tip of a blade of grass. One more breath. Letting the breath be as it will. Relaxing through the ankles, up through calves, backs of the thighs, glutes huddled into the earth, waist in the back soft, melding down between the shoulder blades, back of neck, a little long, soft, maybe rolling slightly on the back of the skull, so slightly, relaxing down. Soft through the cheeks and the eyes, the temples, lips and tongue, the throat, muscles of the heart relaxed. Shoulders soft, tops of the arms, elbows, forearms, thumbs and fingers. Lengthen the breathing and bring some movement to fingers and toes. However, if you'd like to just stay lying in a very relaxed position, please do so. If you're coming back into your day right now, roll your ankles and wrists, waking up the body. Perhaps give your knees a hug. Is there anything that your heart would like to bring forward from this practice into your day? Rolling over, we'll come up to a brief sitting position. If you are sitting up now, feel free to stay down. Hands come to heart center. May we be healthy. May we be spacious in our hearts and minds. May we be like dewdrops. May we be open to the world. Namaste. Thank you for practicing. Always good to be with you.